Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. This video is about the history and the current status of a 3HO ashram / Sikh Dharma International Ashram that's here in Phoenix. This ashram goes by the name of Guru Nanak Dwara. And the first bit of history that I'm going to read is from an article called A Path Divided. And it's in the Phoenix New Times. The author is Susie Buchanan, and it was written in 2002. So in this article, she talks about the history of how Guru Nanak Dwara was developed under the guidance of Yogi Bhajan. I'll just go ahead and read a few highlighted articles. It was 1981 when they first heard of Sikh Dharma, a small group of white Americans who were first turned to Kundalini Yoga by a charismatic Indian they called Yogi Bhajan. When Teji and Bisla's small group of Indian Sikhs approached the members of Sikh Dharma to ask if they could rent out the temple for prayer, the Americans invited them for Sunday services instead. The Indians accepted and soon found their American counterparts to be hungry for guidance. He, Teji, taught them how to bow their heads to pictures of the gurus or to Yogi Bhajan, as some of them were doing. But as they learned, they being the Punjabi Sikhs, as they learned more about Yogi Bhajan's interpretation of Sikhism, Teji says, many Indians came to view him and his followers with a more skeptical eye. Some were bothered by the Americans' inclusion of Kundalini Yoga as part of their daily ritual, which Indians say is a Hindu practice, not a Sikh one. The Indians read 6 stanzas of their scriptures at worship. The Americans read 5. The Americans not only held yoga classes inside the temple, but at times students' feet pointed towards the scriptures, a sign of disrespect. Indians suspected that Bhajan's brand of Sikhism was focused more on economics than enlightenment. Continuing, and this is talking about in 1995, the Indian Sikhs were expected to eat, sing, and pray alongside the Americans, as well as tithe the customary 10% of their income. They were not, however, expected to ask where that money went. Many Indians claim they were given no opportunities to decide how money was spent or how services were conducted. Yogi Bhajan controls Sikh Dharma, which owns the 9th and Oak Temple, which is Guru Nanak Dwara, as well as at least 14 properties surrounding it. The temple is not owned by the people. It is owned by Yogi Bhajan, Bisla says. He controls all of that. No one there can say anything. Rick Ross has a quote. He says about Yogi Bhajan, he is an authoritarian leader who dictates. The Punjabi Sikhs see him as an embarrassment. Yogi Bhajan has shamed them, disgraced their religion. And then further the article says, it was with grievances like those in mind that on November 18th, 1995, a group of around 30 Indian-born Sikhs, including Bisla and Sro, gathered at a local restaurant to discuss their frustrations with Sikh Dharma. They were unanimous in agreeing that several traditional practices of their faith were not being upheld by the Americans. After 5 more weeks of meetings and an attempt at compromise that had been summarily vetoed by Bhajan, the group announced in an open letter to the congregation that they were parting ways with the Americans to build their own temple, another place of worship where everyone would be welcome. Talking about why some of the Indian Sikhs wanted to separate, somebody says they didn't want to sing American songs at the end of service, which they still do sing the American songs in the Gurudwara, such as the Song of the Khalsa, I guess, which is technically not allowed. It's not part of the Sikh religion. It's not in the scriptures, but they sing it there anyway. And then finally, here it says, the profits, though controlled by bhajan, go to support the group's central structure based in Espanola, New Mexico. That's again the Sikh Dharma International Gurudwara, Guru Nanak Dwara. The profits, he says, though controlled by bhajan, go to support the group's central structure based in Espanola, New Mexico. So that's a little bit of the history of Guru Nanak Dwara. And so what's happening there now is basically the same thing. You can read on their own website right now. I'll read it, first paragraph. The history of Guru Nanak Dwara. Guru Nanak Dwara was founded in 1970 as an ashram committed to practicing both the Sikh way of life and Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan. And you can see on Guru Nanak Dwara's calendar that they do hold a morning sadhana, which is Japji Sahib Kundalini Yoga set. Doesn't say Kundalini, but I know that it's a Kundalini Yoga set. Aquarian mantras and a short Gurudwara. So again, they're still doing only the 5 scriptures. They're adding Hindu scripture as well. And these Aquarian mantras, that's what they call it. So that's part of Guru Nanak Dwara's schedule. And as you can see in this picture, we have a very famous, very well known from Delhi, Ragi group, who are Sikh Ragi group. Everybody knows them. And they are doing kirtan in the Kundalini Yoga class. So you can see that in that picture. That's them in the back doing kirtan in the yoga class. So there is a Sikh Gurudwara about 3 blocks away from Guru Nanak Dwara. That's the small group that separated. It's a lovely, beautiful community there, though it's smaller. And Guru Nanak Dwara continues to promote this Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan. I don't know where their funding, where their profits go now. In my imagination, it would be the same, that they are sending profits to Sikh Dharma International, because as you can see in this picture, Guru Nanak Dwara is an official Sikh Dharma International company, building, whatever you want to call it, but that's what they are. So I can't imagine that the profits wouldn't go to supporting that. And again, Sikh Dharma International is 3HO, it's all the same thing, it's all Bhajan's corporation. And it makes me really sad. I learned all this slowly. I used to go to Guru Nanak Dwara twice a day, every day, for over a year. I used to read at a Kanpat like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. When there were slots, I would fill in the slots. I would cook and bring cookies, everything. Like, that was my second home for a long time. When I finally learned all of this in completion, I vowed to never go back as long as it was still under control of these people. And it still is, so I'm not going back. I know a lot of people who still go there, and I understand that, because it is a beautiful building and a lot of beautiful people go there. But I don't know, hopefully they're not putting any money in that box, because who knows where it goes. And I couldn't ask anybody to not go there anymore, but for myself, I'm not going. And I just wanted people to know the truth. And all this information's online. I didn't say anything that was new. So that's this video. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.